Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very, very much for being a part of our little family out here, out in the middle of a jungle, hanging around a little tiny table with all of you guys. We expand our tables, and we are so glad to see you all out there and to be a part of this family. And the way YouTube works, if you guys could actually get a thumbs up on this, which I have never once in my life asked anybody to ever do, but it seems like the only way that YouTube ever has any kind of like advertising of its own is when people are giving it a like. So if you guys would give us a like, I'd really appreciate it. We can hopefully expand out to others beyond our little tiny group right here. And we are the people, the family, who believes that Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy is our rule book for life. In fact, we are the family who believes that it is not done away with, the laws. We don't believe that our Messiah, whose name is not Jesus the Christ, but is Yahushua. There were no J's in Hebrew, so let's call our Messiah by his Hebrew name. That he did not come and do away with these laws, that his entire purpose was absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not to come and destroy the Torah and the prophets, but he came to make them right. He was the one who came and walked the Torah absolutely perfectly. And there's so many different scriptures that talk about how our Messiah came to do the will of his Father. He came to do what his Father wanted him to do. And it's not on his own behalf. He didn't come and die and was slaughtered because he wanted to. It was because of what his dad had asked him to do, and he followed through. And so we will always be those people that are talking about the Torah as something that is as essential as the air that you breathe, because either one of them without, you will die. If we do not have oxygen for that beautiful breath of fresh air that we take every moment of every day, well, it will be just like that if we don't have the Torah written on our hearts, minds, and souls. And so our Creator has given us a path forward. He has given us a way that is a different world outside of the world that we know right now. And when you read scriptures, it's very clear most people aren't, they're called, but most people don't come. It is a very limited hangout if you are willing to hang out with the people of Yah. And so we are definitely different than the rest of the world, as we have to be, because the people of the world are not saved. The people of the world don't care about the wishes and the ways of our Creator. They you know, the world is the world. And all throughout scriptures, we are not supposed to be with the world. We're not supposed to hang with them. If we're watching movies and TV and all of this demonic activity, that's not being part of the kingdom. That's being part of the world. And a lot of times it's hard to give up music, the secular music that everyone listens to, or pretty much most music. I don't know of a tremendous amount of Torah-related music. It's just really rare what's out there. But, you know, we're called to give up that stuff on the radio station, the stuff that it talks about evil and nudity and getting with women and getting with men, all that kind of stuff. You can't undo it. You can't undo what you hear. You can't undo what you see. If you go to a movie of any kind that is produced by the people of Hollywood, Hollywood is a tree that they make magical wands out of. Simply by watching a Hollywood production, you're involved in a type of witchcraft. You're involved in some sort of basically it's a capture of the human race, in their mind, heart, and soul. And people will watch their movies, but they will absolutely not care what the hand of our Creator wants or what he says. And so we are those people that are always encouraging everybody to read your scriptures from the front of the book to the end of the book. Read it very, very slowly. Read it very methodically. Read it to the point where you're writing it upon your heart, mind, and soul as you do it. And that will be the path that we have to the kingdom. And when in these words, which are the words of wisdom, which are in what they call the Kodesh books or the holy books, that's where we find the understanding of what our Creator has in his heart, mind, and soul for all of us. And it's not a secular world. It's not a world of evil. It's a world of his people acting and behaving a very much different way than what we are accustomed to right here. So, Cade, will you open us in prayer, please?
Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for bringing us together once again, for bringing us as a family together, looking for your Torah, your word, your ways. And I ask that you count this day as our obedience, and that we count it as righteousness. I ask that you bless this day, that you give us rest, a reset, a time to recharge, a time to be in your scripture, a time to be in your word, to be with you, to learn about you, to learn about your Torah, and learn about your ways. And thank you for all. Thank you for this reading. We ask that the scriptures that we are reading today are blessed. That's what you want us to find, and you put the Ruach on our eyes to understand what needs to be understood. Thank you for all. In His name, amen.
Okay. All right. Mr. Cole, who do we have in this? Who do we have? What's families with us?
We got lots here today.
All right.
We got Irma. We got Jeremy and Callan. The Grandma's here. Jeannie, Not of This World. Obi Lines, Chris. Elizabeth and Andy. Scrolling, Stella. Katrina, Quentin, and Claudia. Scott Freeman, and just to let everybody know, since it's Scott, that Larry did make parole. So
This is Scott.
Yep.
Larry. Oh, right. Yeah. And Larry Bronner, brother Larry, made parole.
All right, and hold on, I'm scrolling down here. I said Stella. Elizabeth, Armando's mom. Sylvia, I missed her saying Shabbat Shalom, so Shabbat Shalom, Sylvia. Didn't see her in there. And we have a new name. I think it's Mahin, M-A-H-I-N, Mahin. So welcome. Sister Barb. We also have Emissary of Elohim, Cain. He's here today. Haven't seen him in a while. Mama C.A. Candy. I don't know if Ruby's here. And Ali Empanada. She hasn't been here for a while.
Allie's back. She's been a long time since we've seen her. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to it. Jade, will you please go over quickly? Not quickly.
Shema?
The Shema, yeah. And what we're going to do, guys, is the Shema these are actually, what we're just about to read right here are actual commandments. These are commandments that we as the people, the children of our Creator, are told to live by and told to do. And this has been a conversation in our house quite a bit, because at the end of the week, we basically ask everyone around us, how much time did you guys spend in your scriptures? How many hours a week have you put in your scriptures? And if the answer isn't adequate for what my understanding of it should be, we simply sit around and we talk about this. And I ask my kids and I ask my boys, are we obeying this commandment? And let's go over it right now, and then we'll talk about this. Jake.
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, they shall be front between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay, so guys, this is where when it says hear, O Yisrael, this is called Shema, and it means to hear and obey. It's two separate things when you look at it in the Hebrew language. So we have a Shema, and this Shema is a commandment. This is literally a commandment that all of us can fail, and it's a commandment that all of us can achieve. Now, when I go through at the end of Friday night on Shabbat Eve, when I talk to my boys, I'm like, all right, fellas, how did your week go? Let's talk about how much time did we put into this? Because this commandment says we need to love the Creator of our universe with all of our heart, with all our being, and with all of our might. Now, that may not seem like a tremendous amount to you, but understand that if you love something with all your heart, all your being, and all your might, that is everything, right? And then continuing on, he says, these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart. And we're supposed to impress them upon our children. And we're to speak of them when we sit in our house, when we walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. And they shall be a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And we write them on the doorposts of our house and on our gates. So you do not enter your house, you do not enter your gates without understanding that you are under a covenant. This covenant is called the Torah. And this covenant is available to all of us if we are willing to obey what our Creator says to do. Now, if we made it to the end, I will tell you guys the same thing I tell my boys. If we have made it to the end of this week and you have 15 minutes of Bible time that you read all week long, then you have violated this commandment. And you're not writing the scriptures on your heart. You're not impressing them upon your minds. You're not speaking of them when you walk, and you're not having them as frontlets between your eyes. Guys, this is what the covenant people are supposed to be. We are not those guys that make it to the very end of the week and we haven't done any scripture study. We haven't spent any time in prayer. We have been with our Creator. It's real easy in this world to get distracted. It is very easy in this world to become worldly and to get tied down by the issues of this world. And it's real easy to become a fearful, wandering person that has no way and no future. This is why we should all be very excited about this. We have been given a future. If you are listening to this, if you are at the end of the sound of my voice, then you have obviously chosen the path of our Creator. You have chosen the ways that He wants us to be. And if you look around, there's not a lot of people around us, right? All the way around, even the Torah keepers that you know, there's just not a lot of people that have the Torah as the frontlets of their eyes. Guys, this is the command. And if we are not loving our Creator with all of our heart, mind, and soul, we could very well get rejected from the kingdom to come. We don't have second chances here. We have one amazing chance at one amazing walk. And if we are willing to get so distracted with the world that we are violating this set of commandments right here that we're going over, then what room is there in the kingdom for people that aren't focused on the kingdom? And that's the thing. We live in the 41,000 different religions where every one of them are saved. They know they're saved. They raise their hands. They get dunked in a pool inside of a man-made temple, and they think they're all saved, right? Everybody gets that euphoric feeling, and they think that they're saved based upon the hands of man and the words of man. But when you read scriptures, everything that we're seeing in these 41,000 different denominations are an abomination to our Creator because they are not obeying what our Creator wants Him to obey, what He wants us to obey, guys. And so this is where we are going to go over these laws, statutes, and commandments that are found in scriptures. And this was I don't know how many years ago that Boss Clan went through, and we tried to very slowly and very meticulously write down these scriptures because we were unsure. Before we ever started it, we could not find anywhere out there that had the list of these commandments other than what the Judaism tells us is 613 or something of the sort, which there aren't. There are not 613 different commands. There's about under 200, and this is the breakdown of them. And so as we go through them, when we listen to them and when we memorize them and when we write them on our heart, mind, and soul, they are a defense mechanism for us. They are a shield. They are a sword. They are everything that we need to sustain ourselves in this crazy world that we are into. And when we reject them, we are rejecting them at the expense of our souls, at the expense of our families, at the expense of our kids. That's what we're rejecting. We're ruining lineages of people who could be Yahs if only we would be obedient. Okay, let us begin. Commandment number 1, be fruitful.
Multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it, have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
Go ahead.
The earth bearing every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean thing that moves every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make her use anointing oil on a person. Do not make her use perfume on an old person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do not, or do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with the woman her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not clean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbors as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with the taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, the Jubilee year.
Confess sins Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The law of being Nazir.
Wear seeds on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The law or Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and in the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice not Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of self, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The law is the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah is chosen.
Now have I tested Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, then you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof on it that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you, return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back for the forgotten sheep in the field, leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when you tread that grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot.
All right, so here we are. I never know with YouTube if the comments are dead or not. Do we know the comment? What was the last one we saw?
The last one is the grant, is guarding
Okay.
your gates.
All right, so-
guard your soul.
The billion-dollar YouTube company can still actually get comments through. That's good. Okay, all right, so let us continue on. Guys, we're into the book of Leviticus. This is the, we're doing two different books here. We're doing Leviticus and we're also doing Matthew. But where we are at in Leviticus, Cade, can you give me a breakdown of where we are at, please?
We are in Leviticus now after we get the commands. The people move on. They are supposed to deal with everything that Yahuwah has told them with the temple, the sacrifice, and they are learning how to do all these. They're learning how to do the priestly garments, how to deal with the sacrifices, with the different types of animals, the oils, the flowers. They're learning how to deal with all of that to do the sacrifices.
Okay. All right, Jay, do you got anything else on that for us on the Old Testament stuff?
We're just learning
You have
about
to get a little
the
closer
days,
here.
We're just learning about
Scoot
the
in.
days of Moses.
Okay. All right, so no. All right, so here we go. Well, Leviticus 8. Eli, you got anything?
No.
All right. Well, there's 3 no's. Okay. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, and the anointing oil, and the bowl of the sin offering, and the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread, and assemble all the congregation at the door of the tent of appointment. And Moshe did as Yahuwah commanded him, and the congregation was assembled at the door of the tent of appointment. And Moshe said to the congregation, this is the word Yahuwah commanded to be done. So Moshe brought Aaron and his sons, and washed them with water, and put the long shirt on him, and girded him with the girdle, and dressed him in the robe, and put the shoulder garment on him, and girded him with the embroidered band on the shoulder garment, and with it tied the shoulder garment on him, and put the breastplate on him, and put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastplate, and put the turban on his head, and on the turban on his front he put the golden plate, the Kodesh sign of dedication, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. Now, I remember the first time that we went through this stuff, we had no idea what the Urim and Thummim was, and it took us a little bit to figure out exactly what that was. Anyone want to explain that?
It's the rocks, right?
The rocks, yes.
So basically, it's basically a way to hear yes or no from Yahuwah. They take these 2 rocks in a bag, and they pull it. When they want a yes or no from Yahuwah, they grab the rocks out of the bag, and whichever rock is, one rock signifies yes, one signifies no. And so if they pull it out, it means no, do not do something. But
Right.
yes, that is what happens.
Right. Okay.
Now I have a question.
What you got a
Would
question?
the high priest be the one doing sacrifices with all the clothes on, or who would he be observing? Because he didn't want to get blood on all these holy clothes.
I don't know. I think these guys were all part of this.
Even with the clothes on and all the gems in the breastplate.
I don't know. I really don't know on exactly who was the executioner on it. We do know that when they did it, everybody puts their hands on the animal,
Right.
and then you, I think, cut its throat.
But I don't think they don't get blood on the holy garments.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know if that was there. Anyone in the chat, do you guys know if it's the guy that's all duded up? I don't know if it's him that's overseeing everything or if it's him that actually does this. It doesn't, I mean, if you are in these holy robes, if you guys are trying to make a throat cut on an animal or a thing, you're still going to get blood splatter on you. I don't think you can make a knife slice without somehow throwing blood, little stuff everywhere. So they may have had, I don't know, maybe they had like a couple different things. Maybe they had, I'm sure that the shoulder plates and all these things, these were things that, you could wipe off and get rid of. But as far as like the clothes, I'm sure at some points people had to wash them. So maybe there's a couple different sets of these. I don't know. Okay. Anyone else have anything? You in the chat have anything? I think there were different garments to slaughter the animals, and they had to wash afterwards. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, that's from Jeremy.
And then Sister Barb, did you see hers?
A blessed helper was assigned to do the bloody work. Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe. I don't know. That could be very much. When dealing with ashes, he would change. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of different thoughts on this. I don't have an answer for that. They probably have different clothes and stuff of that sort. But I don't think one dude could do all of this. There's if you're talking like a whole bunch of sacrifices, there is probably that one, like Sister Barbara's talking about. There's probably that one dude who's a cutter, and that dude is just doing that kind of stuff. And that's the daily job of the Levites and the Kohen, and only once a year. All right. The Grand's throwing in stuff. Must have handled it with care. Trying to think of the name they were called in Hebrew. High priest appointed. Don't know. Okay. All right. Cool. This is why I love the chat. We got a lot of big brains out there. A lot of astute people who have been studied up in this stuff. And Boss Clan, we don't have all the answers, right? A lot of times we will speculate on things that we don't know, and go from there. All right. Where are we at, guys?
I think you're on 10.
10. Okay. And Moshe took the anointing oil and anointed the Mishkan and all that was in it and Kodesh them. And he sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times and anointed the altar and all its utensils and the basin with his base to Kodesh them. And he poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head and anointed him to Kodesh him. Now, what do you guys think? See, this is something, there's things in scriptures we don't know. A lot of things that need to be, I don't think we need to understand them, but I've always been curious as far as the anointing of, Aaron's head. Are we talking like a lot of oil? Are we talking just a little bit? You start pouring oil on people's hair, it's a thing, right? It doesn't just come out. You look like one of those slick down guys that grease their head up like a ton of stuff. This would be interesting to see who has any kind of stuff in the comments, huh? Little lady brain here. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. I don't know if when we're talking about anointing the oil on Aaron's head, I don't know if it's like a full-on bath of oil on his head. If it is, that's yet more stuff that has got to be cleaned up. It's also something that if he's in holy garments as well, and he's got oil all over the place, it's gonna look like a mechanic when this thing is over. And so,
So back to the sacrifice real quick.
All right, back to
Sister
sacrifice.
Barb says, in ancient Hebrew culture, the cutter of the sacrifice wore different garments. And Jeremy says, yes, it explains in Leviticus, I believe, different garments. And then now on the oil, Sister Barb says it was poured on the head.
Like just completely poured on the head, like they drenched their head. This, yeah, that's interesting. You got to get that out of there too. Once you have that in there, slick that back and see what's going on. Okay, let us continue on. The cooler dunk over the head, but with oil, not Gatorade. Yeah. Yeah, so I get it what Jeremy's saying on this. Yeah, so it's still going to be messy. Everything around this, everything we're doing here is kind of messy. I don't know so much as you leave the day without being totally trashed with your gear and everything. Okay, here we go. Somebody else new in the chat. Much love to you.
It's
Who's that? Hold on.
Jerry and Dolly.
Oh, hi, Jerry and Dolly. Okay.
13.
Okay, 13. Are we sure? 13. And Moshe brought the sons of Aaron and put long shirts on them and girded them with girdles and put turbans on them and as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And he brought the bull for the sin offering. And Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull for the sin offering. And it was slaughtered. I'm going to finish that and then we'll talk about and it was slaughtered part. And Moshe took the blood and put some of it on the horns of the altar all around with his finger and cleansed the altar. And he poured the blood at the base of the altar and kadosh it to make atonement for it. Now, this entire, and it was slaughtered, that it seems like it's just, 4 words right there. But this is a big thing, right? This is and a lot of people, I know a lot of you guys have not done some of the creepier stuff that the Boss Clan has done, where we have had to slice and dice cows up. And what's crazy down here is it's hard. Like you can't just go you can get guns. Guns are legal. We have a shotgun, but I've never wanted to put a cow down with a shotgun. And so we ended up learning the ways of the jungle, and it is a mess. It is a bloodbath. Number one, there's no animal if it's not tied up, it's not going to sit there and allow you to do this. And so we're dealing with animals that are all tied up, and we're dealing with something like when you put your hand on the head of an animal that's about to be killed, right? You have a live animal, and then all of a sudden you have a slice, and it's not an immediate kill, right? This is not something that anyone immediately dies from. You have to bleed out, regardless. You're going to be cutting an artery. You're going to be cutting it. It's probably like right at the neck is my guess. Is they probably cut their neck. That's how we had to do with the cow. There's an artery that goes right down the side of their neck, and if you are trying to kill a cow with a knife, and again, Boss Clan has unfortunately been exposed to a tremendous amount of this stuff out here in these jungles, and so this is not a good thing. This is a hard thing to deal with, and you're dealing with beautiful animals, right? You're dealing with an animal who has not done anything to humans. We're not talking about bulls that have gored people. We're not talking about little, these animals are precious little animals, and so we have to understand that our Creator is not looking for a bloodbath. He is not looking that we are sitting here killing animals all the time. This is the way that when our Creator was with us, that it was the only possible way to appease him for the sins that we were into. And over and over and over, our Creator says he wants obedience. He does not want sacrifice, right? And people don't get that. You have these people like, oh, he doesn't want sacrifice. if we were to exist with our Creator, this was the way it was. We have to be in a perfected form, or as close to a sinless form as we can be. And without the slaughter, we don't have that, which is why we need to rejoice that our Messiah became offering, right? He became that perfect slaughtered offering that we in the kingdom to come, that we have a way that we don't have to have Levites around us all the time. We don't have to have the system right now that we're dealing with this, that we have. There is a way forward, because if we did not have the way forward right here, if we did not have Messiah Yahushua, then we'd have no way into the kingdom, right? That we're 3 years old and we put our hands in that cookie jar, we are falling under the spiritual curse of breaking the Torah, and that spiritual curse is death. And so this is why this entire process right here, as gory and as creepy as it is, and it is creepy, guys, when you're killing animals, for those who have never done it, it is absolutely creepy. It is something you do not get over. It is not something that you just close your eyes and the event is over. It is something that you're changed for life on. And that's the thing that most people don't get, is they don't understand what it is to put an animal to death by your own hand in this complete way. And it's tough. And so we need to be those obedient people. We do not want the slaughterings. We want the obedience. That is what our Creator wants for us. And that's what He's always said. All right, continuing on.
The Grand has a question.
What you got?
So did the head of each family slaughter their own lambs on Pesach?
I think so. I think everybody. That was the command, is everybody went. I don't think the Passover lamb was a Kohanim thing. I think that everybody was able to do it because that was the command. We don't have a command that we take it to the Kohanims and have them kill it. All right? Do you guys remember this? What is the command on Passover? It's just that at sunset, or right,
Yeah.
dusk, we kill the animal, and it's like something in your own house, right? It's protection for your own house. I don't know if there's enough priests to do all that at that particular time, at that moment, for all the houses. So, anything else?
Sister Barbara just said they did bless it if it wasn't too far.
They do what?
They did bless it, like the killing of it, if it wasn't too far, like the Kohen, I believe.
What do you mean if it wasn't too far? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't get it. But that doesn't mean anything because I don't get a lot of stuff.
Maybe she meant if they weren't too far away
So,
from where it was.
okay, I see. Okay, I see.
To travel, yeah.
If it wasn't too far. Yeah, on Passover, I don't know, man. Passover, we're talking about every single household that needed to do this at a certain time, and maybe there's enough priests to do it. I don't think so. But it's one of those things we are commanded to do, and we all live in the days of meat factories, right? We all live in the place where you could just go in and order hamburger and all this stuff, and nobody sees exactly how it makes it to the table, and it's grisly, especially grisly down in third world countries. Far more grisly than it is where you can just deal with it like normal in North America. Okay, continuing on. Where are we at? Anyone?
I think we're on
14 or 15. 14, I think.
All right. And he brought the bull for the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull offering for the sin offering, and it was slaughtered. Okay, that was the part. So we're on 16, fellas. Pay attention, please. Okay, 16. Right? Yeah, it was slaughtered. That was it. And he took all the fat that was on the entrails and the appendage on the liver and the two kidneys with their fat, and Moshe burned them on the altar. And again, we're learning exactly a little bit about how this looks, right? When you have an animal, you have all sorts of stuff, right? You got the skin, you got the internals, the meat is, it's part of it, but there's a tremendous amount of other stuff inside of this that you have to deal with. And so this is what it's talking about right here. This is why we don't eat the fat, right? Because the fat is something that our Creator likes to smell. He's not that far away that he could actually smell this stuff when we're preparing it. So this is what he was doing. And also what's interesting is the liver, the kidneys, fat, all this stuff was burned, right? They're burning their organs on this. Okay, continuing on, 17. And the bull, and its skin, and its flesh, and its dung, he burned with fire outside the camp, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. Okay, and so there's certain things like this is interesting stuff. To burn the flesh of an animal that just barely got killed, you got to have a hot fire, right? You got to have a super hot fire. We have actually tried to. We had a bull that died out there one time, and you either can bury it, you can let the animals take off with it, or you can attempt to do something with it. And I put a ton of diesel on this thing, and I put cans of diesel on this thing. I lit that thing up, and it smelled like a barbecue for a little bit. And then later on, we went back there, and it hardly did anything to the flesh. Like it really didn't do anything. And so when you're talking flesh, you're talking a something that doesn't burn, right? It's just a chunk of skin with hair on it, and there's still blood and other things on it. And I don't want to get too down this rabbit hole, but a lot of us, we don't understand what it's actually like to do this, and we do have this experience. And so I do want to throw this out there. So what was burned outside the camp was its feces, its flesh, and its skin, right? All of this stuff, like basically the skins of all this thing. Let's see what's going on. Also for our health, fat stores toxins in the liver. Yeah, those things. Yeah, absolutely. Emissaries are right. Yeah, we don't eat that stuff, right? The creator of the universe says we don't eat stuff like pig. We don't eat fat. It's not because he's like a killjoy, right? He's not like, oh, I don't want you guys partying down there and enjoying that pig fat. This stuff will get you killed. Pig will get you killed. They're toxic things. And if you left, say for instance in 17, if you left the flesh of this animal that you would just strip down to its thing around, it's going to get flies, it's going to get some massive stuff, it's going to be disgusting. You got to deal with this. And so this was the clean up side of this that our creator has put in there. All right, yeah, continuing on. And you know, when, like what Sister Barb says, Yah doesn't want you eating fat for a reason. When you start arguing with the Christians about that, they are so upset about not being able to eat pork that right out of the gate, the very first almost litmus test of will this person ever seek the hands of Yah is, are they willing to give up their piggy, right? Are they able to stop eating Miss Piggy and Mr. Piggy? And most aren't, and most won't. And so at the end of the day, when we're on Judgment Day, it's going to be really crazy that we're judging children because we couldn't put down that disgusting piece of parasite infested meat that we thought Messiah died to make clean, which he did not. Okay, 18. And he brought the ram of the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and it was slaughtered. And Moshe sprinkled the blood on the altar all around. And he cut the ram into pieces, and Moshe burned the head and the pieces and the fat. And he washed the entrails and the legs in water, and Moshe burned the entire ram on the altar. It was burnt, offering for a sweet fragrance, and an offering made by fire to Yahuwah, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And again, let's talk about this right here, because we're not talking, you can't get a campfire and burn an animal like this, right? You have to have massive fire. You have to have something that is able to consume this. You cannot stick a killed animal in something and expect it to like be burned up, right? We're talking a massive fire to be able to do this. Like, I don't know what exact, I think it explains the wood in other chapters and stuff that they used on this stuff, but these guys are cooking it up before they ever try to put this stuff up here. If you put like a cow's head or, you know, goat's head or sheep's head or something in a fire, it's not going to burn unless it's really, really super hot. So everything here is, very important. There's sufficient alternatives that people are just like bacon so much. Yeah, turkey. Yeah, that's absolutely true. All of that, right? We've been, I don't know how many years have it been since we stopped eating pig? Like a decade?
At least.
About a decade, yeah. And it's like, you know, we still see all these people all around, especially where we go to these little markets and we see everybody with their pig. And we see those nasty sausage guys that are selling pig sausage and all this other stuff. And we even have people that are like, hey, let's do business with you guys. And I'm like, I ain't doing business with some Gentile killing pigs and giving it to the Yah's people. I won't touch you. I won't shake your hand. I'm sure the heck I aren't going to like buy stuff from you. So it's really gross. Okay, let's continue. 22. And he brought the second ram, the ram of ordination, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and it was slaughtered. And Moshe took some of its blood and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. Anyone have comments on this, on the blood on Aaron, anything like this?
It's strange you put it on like a thumb and toe, but I guess it's...
Wait, let's talk about that real quick. So we have it on his ear, we have his right ear, the right hand, and the right foot. What have we just done essentially?
Make the right side unclean?
Well, yeah, you're a little unclean, but I mean, you're basically from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. You have this ordination. You have this process that our Creator wants us to do, and everything. It may seem a little weird to every one of us out there, but the way our Creator has us and His understanding of His creations, it will make a lot of sense when Messiah can explain why exactly it is. But what he's doing is he's sanctifying, right? He's sanctifying Aaron to be able to produce and to be able to do this ceremony. 24.
Hold on.
Okay, what do we got?
Obi-Line says, were pigs farmed by the children of Israel? If so, what for?
I don't know. We know Elizabeth and Andy in here, they have a pig, and they have a pig that cleans up poop, and that's what he does. It's not to eat, and they know he's an unclean beast. And that's what, back in the days, if you needed a giant pile of poop cleaned up, then you send your pigs into it. If you have some dead bodies, you can send a herd of pigs in there, and those dead bodies will completely be gone. They will rip them apart. I don't know. I'm sure they had pig farms for something, maybe cleaning up stuff, but they're only good as they're alive, walking around doing the janitorial stuff, right? I don't think so much as you should be having these things inside your house. I know a lot of people have these little pot-bellied pigs that they now keep in their house and all this nasty stuff. But I mean, the pigs they're meant to be, for us, disgusting looking things that are, they wallow around in their own poop and feces, and I mean, they eat their own babies. There's just a lot of nasty things that these things do.
Sister Barb says no Hebrew owned pigs.
No Hebrew owned pigs? How do we know that? I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true, but we have 0 stories in scriptures where anybody ever owned pigs. The only people that owned pigs are the Gentiles who were up on the side of the hills and stuff, right? When Messiah went and killed all the pigs, when he sent the demons into them, and they all went flying off the side. So I don't know if that's true or not. But
So Andy and Elizabeth, they both said the pigs literally eat up all the mess from the goats and the chickens.
yeah, so Andy and Elizabeth, they have the pigs to clean up poo. So if that's why you want pigs, I don't know. I don't think there's any law that we have against owning a in Torah. You don't eat it, and it's not part of your food. But I'm sure if something needs to clean up the poop, this is the right way to do it.
Sister Barb says it was written in the scrolls and sage writings.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen those scrolls or sage writing. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not saying it's true. I just don't have anything in regular scriptures I've read that I would lead me to believe that. It's probably not a good thing to keep around, I would say. I mean, these things are literally, they have all sorts of parasites and all sorts of diseases and things that I'm sure will transfer off to humans.
And even what emissary says, if you even touch swine, you're considered unclean. That is 100% true.
Do we have that? Is that?
It's in there.
If we touch a pig, we have a carcass of a pig. We know that, but there's no command that if you touch a pig.
I think the animals like a dog.
Dogs are unclean, but it's not okay to touch them. I don't think you're unclean by touching a pig. I'm sure it's not healthy, guys. The diseases that pigs have are completely, it's not good. So I don't know on this. Yeah, it was in the oral law as well, which was preserved or something. Well, the oral law, if we're talking oral law, we're talking stuff that we don't deal with the Talmud, and that's the only thing that we have with oral law. And so if this isn't the oral law, then I'm going to say this is not a command of our Creator, because I don't have anything. We don't have anything in Leviticus 11 that says we cannot touch a pig. I just don't recall anything. Does anyone remember anything?
We've got this, like, you can have a pet pig, you just can't eat him.
Yeah, don't eat the pig, and don't touch his corpse or carcass or anything of that sort. So, all right, let's continue, guys. Always great discussions here. And he brought near the sons of Aaron, and Moshe put some of the blood on the tips of the right ears and on the thumbs of their right hands and on the big toes of their right feet. And Moshe sprinkled the blood on the altar all around. And took the fat and the fat tail and all the fat that was on the entrails and the appendage on the liver and the 2 kidneys and their fat and the right thigh. And from the basket of unleavened bread that was before Yahuwah, he took 1 unleavened cake and a cake of bread anointed with oil, and 1 thin cake, and put them on the fat and on the right thigh, and placed all these in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and waved them as a wave offering before Yahuwah. Moshe then took them from their hands and burned them on the altar, on the burnt offering. They were ordinations for a sweet fragrance. It was an offering by fire to Yahuwah. Now, here's this sweet fragrance again, right? This is, a lot of people think that our Creator, thanks to NASA, is 5 kabillion light years away and is nowhere to be found, and there's all these other planets out there, and if there's one planet that has humans, there must be other planets that have humans. Maybe not. But what we do know is that our Creator is close enough that these are a sweet fragrance, right? Because I don't know so much as if you would consider these things a sweet fragrance to yourself, but it is something that our Creator definitely likes. And if our Creator is able to smell something locally in our little plane that we have here, I don't know so much as it would be wise to say he's 5 billion light years away and not observing everything that we are doing right here, especially where it says the earth is the footstool of our Creator. And everywhere in Scriptures, it says we're foundationally set. Like nothing can move the foundations of the earth. And so if the foundations of the earth can't be moved, what are we talking about being spinning, monkeys on a spinning water ball? It doesn't make any sense. So that's where we have to turn off that tell live vision programming, and we have to use our own minds because our Creator has given us an amazing sense of understanding. Okay, 29. And Moshe took the breast and waved it, a wave offering before Yahuwah. It was Moshe's portion of the ram of ordination, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And Moshe took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood which was on the altar and sprinkled it on Aaron, on his garments, and on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him. And he kadosh Aaron, his garments, and his sons, and the garments of his sons with him. Okay, this right here kind of answers what we were looking for earlier. It sounds like, or it looks like, that all of these guys come out of here with a whole bunch of blood splatter, a bunch of oil all over them. I would imagine at the end of the day, they had a new change of clothes every day, would be my guess. I don't think you can make it through this kind of endeavor and walk away sparkling cling and have what you need for the next day to make it happen. So just, I would say logically, and I don't know this, but logically I would say they probably all have change of garments that they can swap in and out. I think the breastplate is a thing of metal. They can probably wipe that thing down, stick that over their rocks. It's not metal, but rocks. And so let's continue on. And Moshe said to Aaron and his sons, cook the flesh at the door of the tent of appointment and eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of the ordinations, as I have commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons are to eat it. Then burn the rest of the flesh and the bread with fire. And do not go outside the door of the tent of appointment for 7 days until the days of your ordination are completed, for he fills your hands for 7 days. Yahuwah has commanded to do as he has done this day to make... All right, hold on, guys, real quick. Sorry, guys. There's to make. Where am I at, fellas?
30. You were just.
I have to switch, guys. When it's like getting towards the bottom of this, I have to switch over to another device to read on because I can't see. So continue with the chat. I'm good. And he said not to go outside the door of the tent of appointment for 7 days until the days of your ordination are completed, for he fills your hands for 7 days. Yahuwah has commanded to do as he has done this day to make atonement for you, guys. This is to make atonement. This is not technically your sins being forgiven. This is not the curse of the Torah being gone. This is the atonement that our Creator is able to spend time with us, right? Like this appeases him enough that he is willing to stick around and to hang out. And this is what these days were all about, is that that our Creator walked amongst us and was dwelling with us. And this is how he wanted us to act and how he wants to behave. 34. Yahuwah has commanded to do as he has done this day to make atonement for you, and stay at the door of the tent of appointment day and night for 7 days. And you shall guard the duty of Yahuwah and not die, for so I have been commanded. And Aaron and his sons did all the words that Yahuwah had commanded by the hand of Moshe. Okay. Yeah, guys, and so for those who probably are new on this place, we have a lot of distractions. We don't mean to. We live in we're in a third world country. We think of it like a first world country, especially compared to what North America kind of looks like these days. But the houses are not the same as everywhere else, and so we don't have a ceiling like a lot of you guys have. And so we have a single piece of tin that goes from outside to inside, and so the roof is the sun on the roof making the roof pop and hiss and whiz and things like that. And so that is what we're always up against. We're hoping one day we could actually get a ceiling in here, because this is kind of like this is not exactly normal. I mean, people with that are a little more well-to-do than we can actually afford ceilings, but that has been the least of our things. And so that's what it is, guys. And there's also the 9 pit bulls, and the 9 pit bulls always like to talk and make noises and things. They live with us. They're not chained or anything. They completely live in and around us.
At the end, you can show everybody.
Yeah, spray foam. Get some spray foam. I don't know how that would even work up there, Jeremy. I'd have to put spray foam up there, and then I have to put boards up there and do a bunch of other stuff. So one day we will be high-end, classy folks, and we will try the ceilings like everyone else has. Okay, so this takes us, guys, into Matthew 8. Anybody, give me a quick breakdown on exactly what is where it's at. Anyone?
All right,
Jaden.
so Yehoshua, he had been born by the Yahuwah and Mary, and then he grew up and started teaching people, started finding disciples, learned from John the Baptist, got baptized. John the Baptist ended up dying, and he is in the wilderness. He was tempted by the devil for a whole bunch of times, and for 40 days he's been fasting. Then now he is back teaching and finding more disciples and healing people and doing miracles. And people are the Pharisees are starting to question him and where he's from.
Yeah. So, all right, and yeah. So I saw your comment in there, emissary. Spray foam isn't going to work in here, folks. It's not what you.
Take a lot of spray foam to cover this.
You would take $25,000 in spray foam to be able to do this, guys. So yeah, it's a little different than what you see in here from what you're used to. Okay, let's go. So Matthew 8, Messiah's words. And when he came down from the mountain, large crowds followed him. And see, a leper came and bowed before him and said, Adonai, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And stretching out his hand, Yahushua touched him, saying, I desire it. Be cleansed. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahushua said to him, see, mention it to no one, but go your way, show yourself to the Kohen, and offer the gift that Moshe commanded as a witness to them. Okay, we have this a lot in scriptures where Messiah says, don't mention this to anyone. And I don't think anyone ever obeyed what he actually said, because everybody goes out and they mention what happened. Now, why do you think everybody go out and mention it, even when he says don't mention it to anyone?
Probably because they're scared of the Pharisees. How did this happen to you?
No, why would they go out? They mentioned it. They did not mention it.
Yeah,
they mentioned
I
it.
think it's because they're super excited. They want to spread the word. This guy's amazing.
They lived, right? If you guys get good news, that's what you want to do. Is you absolutely want to spread the word, right? If you had a death sentence of leprosy, if you have a death sentence of everything, or if you guys are real sick, right? We've all had that time when we were really, really sick, where we were like, I think we're on death's door. And, we get at one of those household common colds that is such a big deal these days. And, you eat some chicken noodle soup and you blow your nose, and a few days later you feel better. And when you feel better, you're like, wow, it is so good. I feel so great. That's what this is about. And these guys were they absolutely are going to tell whoever it was, the world, that they're healed, and this is why they're healed. Okay, 5. And when Yahushua had entered Capernaum, a captain came to him, appealing to him, saying, Adonai, my servant is lying in the house, paralyzed, grievously tortured. And Yahushua said to him, I shall come and heal him. And the captain answering said, Adonai, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only say a word, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, for I too am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I come to this one, go, and he goes, and to another one, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. And when Yahushua heard, he marveled and said to those who followed, truly, I say to you, not even in Yisrael have I found such great belief. Okay, now let's talk about this real quick. This guy is he's a leader in a soldier. He's a commander of some kind of army, right? He has authority. This guy is understands the military process of you go, you do this, this happens. And so why does this marvel our Messiah?
He's got a lot of faith compared to the people of his own town.
This is supposed to be a Gentile, right? There's someone outside things, and someone that's not learned in Torah. And all his other people, all the people learn in Torah, the people that have read the scriptures, the study people, they hate Yahushua. They don't believe that he is the one to come. This guy who is not learned understood the power that Yahushua had. He understood what he could do, and he said, you don't even need to come over. You just say what happens, and it will happen. And this is why it's surprised Yahushua, because someone unlearned accepted Yahushua before even his own people who were studied in the scriptures did.
And that is absolute faith, right? I mean, if you had somebody who was paralyzed, who was grievously tortured, and you had a doctor or somebody's like, I will come and heal him, you're like, come on, let's go this way. But this guy had so much faith that he knew Messiah didn't even have to go there, that all he had to do was mention this word. And, Scriptures is full of faith as a mustard seed, right? Moving mountains, having a tree uprooted and be able to replant it. There is, and I do believe that the faith can move mountains. I believe that faith can do all of exactly what it is. But sometimes you will sit there and you will try to move mountains yourself, and the mountains don't move. And then you go, well, I have a lot of faith. I know these mountains should move. But the thing is, it has to be the will of our Creator, right? Whatever is happening has to be what our Creator wants to be willed to have this happen. And so let's continue on. This was an amazing story of this soldier everybody around, they were, they should have felt bad because you had a guy from the outside who isn't part of the Hebrew people. He didn't understand all of this, but yet he saw something outside. And, this is why Messiah came. He came for all 70 nations. He came for all of us. He didn't just come to the southern kingdom and to the northern kingdom. He came for anybody who would listen to him. And to become a Hebrew, to become a child of the Most High, it's the same thing from the beginning of Scriptures to the end of Scriptures. In fact, Revelation 14:12 says the two things that you want to do to be saved is to obey the law, statutes, and commandments of our Creator and the faith of our Messiah. If we don't have faith of Messiah Yahushua, then who do you believe will be king in the kingdom to come? Who do you believe is qualified enough to be our king in the kingdom to come? It wasn't Moshe. As amazing as Moshe says, or as amazing as we have seen him, he was yet unable to even enter into the promised land, right? And in the book of the Nazarene in Khalidi, Messiah says very clearly, don't end up like Moshe. Don't be one of the ones like the rich man who is sitting there on the other side that looks for Lazarus, that's looking in on the good things of what it could be. We don't want to be like that. And I had a lot of people, they were really yelling at me like, oh, Moshe is awesome and wonderful. Absolutely. He is the man. But he still did one thing by smacking a rock versus speaking to the rock that did it. And if that's all it takes for Moshe, guys, we need to be very, very careful. That's why everyone is called. Very few are chosen. That's why we have to be a covenant people. We have to be different than the rest of the world to even get a chance into this. This rapture game, this whole thing where you will be in a religion and you can just ask Jesus to forgive you and you're free from that sin and you can just keep in sin and Jesus will forgive you over and over and over. That's not in the Scriptures. None of that. That was in the doctrines of the Christianity that I was in for 30 some years. That's what I used to believe. That's what I used to teach. And it's just not in Scriptures. We don't pray to Messiah anywhere on any of this as well. Okay, so continuing on. 11. And I say to you that many shall come from east and west and sit down with Abram and Yitzchak and Yaakov in the reign of the Shemaim. But the sons of the reign shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay, we should very much discuss this, right? Because we don't know what the kingdom is going to be like. But if we are looking at what it could possibly be like, it sounds like we could possibly have a dinner with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That would be amazing, right? How is that? So in the kingdom, what do we glean just from this part right here? Well, it sounds like we have food. Sounds like we have dinner. We're doing something, or maybe it's not dinner. Maybe it's just sitting down. Maybe we're not eating. Maybe we're just hanging out with these guys. But there is a couch, right? Or there's a place that we will get to see the people of great, right? Our forefathers and foremothers who actually did this, who walked this. All of these stories that we've heard in Torah, in Scriptures, are going to come to life one day, and we're going to be sitting there with those eyes blinking as we gaze upon those who went and did it for the kingdom and those who made it. Right? But Messiah also says the sons of the reign shall be cast into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Guys, most people don't make it. A lot of people don't make it. We went over that yesterday or last Shabbat in Matthew 7, that people that were doing miracles in the name of Messiah, people that were doing this, they're going to be told to depart. And Messiah even clearly says in the book of Khalidi, in the book of the Nazarene, he's like, I'm going to cast them out because I didn't authorize it. I didn't authorize what they're saying. I don't know what they're saying, but it wasn't from me, so depart from me. Okay, continuing on. 13. And Yahushua said to the captain, go, and as you have believed, so let it be done for you. And his servant was healed at that hour. And when Yahushua had come into the house of Kepha, he saw his wife's mother lying sick with inflammation. And he touched her hand, and the inflammation left her, and she arose and served them. Two verses right here are just amazing, right? You have Messiah that comes in. There's an inflammation, some sort of fever, right? Messiah comes in, touches her. She gets up and she starts helping them out. That's how well of a doctor that Messiah is. It can go from feeling like death to sitting there serving some meals just like that. 16. And when evening had come, they brought to him many who were demon-possessed. And he cast out the spirits with a word and healed all who were sick. that it might be filled what was spoken by Yeshayahu, Isaiah, the Nabi, saying, he himself took our weaknesses and bore our sicknesses. And yet when Yahushua saw large crowds about him, he gave a command to go off to the other side. So going back to this, because the book of the Nazarene is one of these that it's just like all these other books that we read that we can bring things into. Messiah talks about this particular part right here about healing people, but he also talks about the people he doesn't heal. And he talks about that not everybody is healed, right? Because he says clearly that some of the times that he would heal them, it would make them spiritually more deft. Like he would bring weakness to weakness, and instead of bringing strength, instead of them jumping up from being on death's door and glorifying Elohim, they will just get up and continue on in the life that they were, and it was not in service to our Creator, was not in service to the kingdom, and they will make things worse. And so Messiah didn't heal everybody. He healed those who had spirit, who had the strength that it was going to be for the best. 18. I think it did that, but we'll do it again. And when Yahushua saw large crowds about him, he gave a command to go off to the other side. And a certain scribe, having come near, said to him, Teacher, I shall follow you wherever you go. And Yahushua said to him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the Shamayim nests, but the Ben of Adam, the son of Adam, has nowhere to lay his head. Okay, these are interesting things to say, right? That Messiah talks about what he sees as where he is on this place, right? He feels like he's a little bit out of the norm because he doesn't have a home like the rest of us have to. He doesn't have a technical place to go. He's talking about his mission, and his entire mission is a very short time in times of our entire existence that he is there. He doesn't want to go and hang out with these guys. He doesn't want to. His home is with his dad, right? His home is in the kingdom to come. His home is our leadership. This is not just our Messiah. This is our King. This is the one that we will be looking forward to telling us, understanding more in the Torah. And this is the most qualified individual that you could ever have, was the son of the creator of the universe, who was with his father before creation ever was. And from the extracurricular books, we know that the Torah was created before creation ever was. And so if our Creator and his Son knew exactly what it was prior to creation, then none of this is a surprise to any one of them, because this is just how it is, and this is how we should behave. There was one other point I wanted to talk about in the book of the Nazarene. It's very interesting because when Messiah talks about not everybody being healed, not all of this stuff here, it is it's a process, right? Some of the people that didn't get healed could very well get healed later, but it's not something that everybody. And take for instance all of us, right? Some of us get sick, and we pray for health, right? We pray, and sometimes it doesn't come. Sometimes we don't get better. This could be part of the testing, right? This could be part of it, that maybe we're not ready to be healthy. Maybe our time is not here. Maybe there is spiritual strength in the sickness. Maybe there's something that we all need that we're not getting. And by being sick, being on the edge of death's door, by having to lean on our Creator for every breath that we have left, which we do anyway, but when you're on death's door, you know what I mean, right? So there's a lot of times that we will pray for health, and we don't see it, and we don't understand. We don't understand that it is not in the timing of our Creator. It's not that the answer is no. It's that the answer could be yes a little bit later, or that we're not ready for it. And so we can't second guess what our Creator does for us, or our health, or anything like this. He has it all in his hands, and we are all in his hands, and we are a beautiful creation by him, and he wants nothing but the best for us, which is why he gives us the Torah, which is why he tells us not to eat pig and not to do evil things that get us corrupted. Okay, continuing on. And another of his Talmudian disciples said to him, Adonai, first let me go and bury my father. But Yahushua said to him, follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead. Now, this, I believe, is something that is the Christians will run with, right? And they will drop absolutely everything and think they are going off to follow Messiah. This is where the book of the Nazarene, like, if we do not have the entire scriptures, we don't understand everything. If we just read regular scriptures, then we're about if I read this, then I would just drop everything that I have, leave my family, leave my dogs, go out there and just start ministering to the world, just based upon this. Messiah very clearly talks about in scriptures. A man came to him and said, Messiah, should I drop everything? Should I go? And he goes, who do you have that depends on you? He goes, well, my house is full. I got my wife. I got my kids. I got my old father. He depends upon me. And he goes, not everybody has this, that they can just drop everything, because everybody that depends on you, you're responsible for them, right? So sometimes we can't just do this, drop everything and go and follow Messiah. He did not mean that. Like, if you're dropping your entire house and leaving your kids to die and leaving everything around you, this isn't what Messiah is talking about, and going out and just leaving all your responsibilities. We have responsibilities. We are meant to take care of them. And a lot of people get very confused when we don't read the entire scriptures. All right, 23. And when he entered the boat, into a boat, his Talmudim followed him. And see, a great gale arose on the sea, so the boat was covered by the waves, but he was sleeping. And his Talmudim came to him and woke him up, saying, Adonai, save us, we are perishing. And he said to them, why are you afraid, O you of little belief? Then having risen, he rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, what is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Okay, so for those who have not been out on a boat, I don't think I've been on a boat like this. I've been on boats that I don't think there's a boat that is very calming. I'm sure some do, but when it's in a stormy weather, it doesn't matter what boat you're on, you can get completely thrashed. You can get annihilated. So this particular story, the boat was covered by the waves. So we're talking about massive thrashing. And so these guys are all, everybody out there, most of them, I would imagine, were people who were boatmen, right? They came from the boat, they had it. It wasn't like they were out there with inexperienced people. And these guys were completely tripping out. They're like, we're done. It is over. And it's going to be extremely easy to freak out in this particular thing. You have your Messiah, he's snoozing, he's catching some Z's. There's literally Z's popping up from Messiah as this boat is about to go under the water. What do? They got him up. And what's the first thing he says? He gets up. Oh, man, you have little belief. That's a huge thing, guys. It's a huge thing to understand, is that this faith and these beliefs is what's everything. Okay, and the men marveled, saying, what is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? And when he came to the other side, to the country of the Girgashites, 2 demon-possessed ones met him, coming out of the tombs, very fierce, so that no one was able to pass that way. Guys, this is one of these things that I believe without a shadow of a doubt that we are surrounded by demons, that we are surrounded by demon-possessed people. You know, there's some weird ones here, even in third world countries, guys that literally all they do is they walk around talking to things. Like it's like you see in like the cities of North America now, where the people are like really, really high and they're all on these drugs and they just kind of walk around in a zombie state or kind of sit there drooling. This is what he does. And I've seen this guy for years walking around and just talking to things. And I believe these demons absolutely can take us, which is absolutely why we have to be on guard against all of these things and not put ourselves into a position that we are opening ourselves up into this possession. I think it's very easy to get stuck with an unclean spirit on you, and it will attack you. It will mess with your mind. It will make things happen that you can't even understand. And if you do not understand that there is a force of darkness, of spiritual darkness that is always trying to attack you, then you won't know what could possibly be on top of you, which is why we need to be in scriptures. We need to be in prayer. We need to be with our Creator and everything. And the closer we get to the world, the easier it is for the demons to take us to school. Say, for instance, you want to watch a rated R Hollywood demonic satanic movie, and you sit there and watch that, and they're in there, and you know, these things in Hollywood, I mean, they have pentagrams and they have witchcraft, and I mean, these people are happy cursing and happy doing all this filthy, vile, horrible, evil stuff. And we have to stay away from this. If we're involved in this and say, for instance, we even take a drink, we're drinking liquor, right? We're drinking liquors, we're watching all of this stuff, and our eyes are the windows to the soul. Guys, you can't get rid of it, which is why I'm always talking about the evils of pornography and the evils of committing massive adultery by simply viewing pornography, right? That is the problem. That is how easy it is for us to fall into the hands of sin and for possibly unclean spirits to get a hold of us and to make our life really bad or attempt to. 29. And see, and these are talking about the demon-possessed guys. And see, they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with you, Yahushua?" Let's see, hold on, guys, where am I at?
29.
29. And they cried, and see, they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with you, Yahushua, Ben of Elohim, son of Elohim?" Guys, the Trinity is not there's no such thing, right? It's the son of Elohim. There's nowhere in Scriptures that the son is the father and the father is the son. It does not exist. I've argued that 1,000 times to all the Christians, and since they only read like 2 or 3 verses in the entire thing, you can't argue with people when you're trying to do that. It doesn't make any sense that the creator of the universe was killed for 3 days by Hasatan. It was the Son who was our sacrifice, who becomes our priest, and that's what this was all about. And so they were crying out, right? "Have you come to torture us before the appointed time?" And at a distance from them, there was a herd of many pigs feeding. And the demons begged him, saying, "If you cast us out, send us into the herd of pigs." Okay, why do you guys think this is important? Why do they want to go into the herd of pigs? What's
animals?
why not a herd of somethings? A herd of
Probably animals.
unclean animals, so they want to be in the unclean animals?
Probably, they're pretty unclean creatures.
So we know what the story of this is they kill off all these pigs. Why is it just because they're unclean? One thing that I remember Todd Bennett was talking about is this particular place where all these pigs were, like right very close to it was a temple of Baal. Like these pigs were actually the sacrificial pigs for this temple work. And so for whatever reason, the demons all wanted to go into them, which I don't know why, but let's continue on. 32. And he said to them, "Go." And they, coming out, went into the herd of pigs, and see, the entire herd of pigs rushed down the steep place into the sea and died in the water. Somehow the demons were happy about this, right? Somehow the demons were cool with this kind of chaos, because this wouldn't be like something like, "Oh wow, look at that." This would be like, "Holy moly, look at that." You have a huge herd of pigs. They all went completely berserk, started rushing down the hill, and they all jumped in the water. And for the most part, animals are pretty smart, right? We had cows on the side of cliffs, and they look down. They're not going to just jump down into this, and I don't think that regular pigs are going to jump down into this as well, unless they're demon possessed. Okay, 33. And the herdsmen fled and went away into the city and reported all this and about those possessed by demons. And see, all the city came out to meet Yahushua, and when they saw him, they begged him to leave their borders. Okay, why do you think these guys begged him to leave the borders?
They just lost all of their pigs. So,
yeah, they lost all their money. Their money was all gone, and
stopped destroying our land.
Yeah, they probably didn't have those kind of lawyers back in the day that would have sued them for small claims. This would have been like large claims. It'd probably been grand theft on this one in today's society. So there we have the unclean food, the food the Christians love as their candy. The demons went into and all went flying off the cliff, but yet they will stand beside all food has been made clean, even though Leviticus 11 clearly tells us what is and what is not. So then I guess that's it. So, fam, I guess that is it. Thank you guys very, very much. Again, I'm sorry for our very noisy roof. One of these days, maybe it won't be like this, but for now.
Emissary says, so the people who had pigs would be upset with Yahushua.
Yeah, well, yeah, anybody would absolutely have that. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you guys very, very much. Jade, will you please bless our family?
Yahuwah baruch you and guard you. Yahuwah may his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace. They shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall baruch them.
Okay. All right, everybody. We love you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. Sorry for the dogs. They get crazy. All right, everybody. Thank you guys very, very much. Sorry for the distraction. Sorry for the dogs. They always go crazy. As Dirty Deb and her gang, yeah, they don't say much anymore. We shall see what they say in the immediate future, very, very soon. So, guys, thank you very much. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May His light forever shine on you. May the light of the Torah forever embrace your life. May you forever understand the kingdom to come, and may we all see each other in the kingdom to come. Much love. We love y'all. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.